Good afternoon to all our listeners and viewers of the NDC Heartbeat podcast. We're happy to have you here this afternoon. We have had just a little technical issue in getting off, but we're going to be up and running. We're going to be back with you in just a few seconds, and we'll introduce our guests who will be online. Back with you in a moment.
My name is Rennie Rouget. Most people know me as President or Prezi. I am a personal trainer and fitness motivator. The name of my business is called Cali Z. Calisthenics is basically body weight fitness or fitness using your body weight. I like to define it as a discipline and an art form that allows you to master your body using natural movement. So I've been in this line of work for just a little over 2.5 years, going on to 3 years. I was inspired to get into this, just having my own personal goals of wanting to feel stronger and healthier and just change my lifestyle around to improve my health overall. So there are a few challenges that I've faced in this business in terms of getting clientele to come in. It has been a challenge because I do it in an open space. So we deal with the weather, having to deal with the weather. That has been one of the challenges that I've faced. Getting the right gear to add to my exercises has been a challenge as well. So the CES grant is going to help me in terms of getting a few more weights to add to my exercises and workout routines, which is helpful. A lot of clients do request using some weights from time to time. It's also going to help me in terms of getting the right video equipment so that I can start marketing the business a little better and advertising better as well. In the next 5 years, I see myself having a calisthenics park, an area where people can come and train and basically do outdoor fitness workouts. You can also have a covered area for the days when the weather is not great, when you have the rain falling. I see things like healthy food and drinks included in that campus. Just overall health and fitness area that people can come and develop themselves on a fitness level. It's good for mental health as well, not just physical health, but mental health. And that's where I see myself in the next 5 years. It's a yes for CES. Z.
Welcome back to all our listeners and viewers of the NDC Heartbeat podcast. We're happy to have all those of you who are on WeFM, Vibes FM, Spice Capital Radio, and indeed those of you who are online. Very warm welcome to you to Heartbeat this beautiful Sunday afternoon in Grenada. What we're going to do basically is to give you a review of last week's episode in just about 45 minutes, 1 minute, and then we will introduce our guests. So, back with you in a moment.
Previously on the Heartbeat.
We have promised the people of Grenada, we did a budget, and we promised them we are going to implement certain things in the budget. And as a cabinet, we are fighting and trying our best so that when November and December reach, we can report and say, listen, we have done what we say we will do. This is what the focus should be on.
Yep.
And if we are focused on that, and if you, the people, back us and help us, the only entity or the only place that will benefit is Grenada.
Absolutely.
So we have to stop the division, we have to stop the fighting, put the politics down. Someone coming to disrupt you and to create this kind of distraction, don't listen to it. Push them aside. I would love for you to come with the ideas and say, Andy, listen, man, this is the idea I have for Grenada. Andy, we have to do this. In the next 4 years' time, we will campaign again. But no, we have to act, and we owe it to our children and their children to create a better Grenada.
Welcome back to all those of you who are on the Heartbeat program for today. We are going to be chatting today with no other person than Mr. Larry Barry. He is the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, and the party will be having its first convention come 5th of March. You can say it's a celebration after the victory of June 23rd, but helping me today to chat about the plans, all the arrangements being put in place for this year's convention is the General Secretary. Barry, welcome to Heartbeat once again.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you to the colleagues in the studio that make this happen every Sunday God's will. Indeed, it's a historic 35th annual convention of the National Democratic Congress. The 34th annual convention that occurred on the 31st of October 2021 was historic. And we are looking at a historic followed by another historic. This is the 35th annual party convention.
That's great.
Terry, firstly, on the occasion of this convention, it is important to thank the Grenadian people and the electorate for keeping faith with the National Democratic Congress. It is important to thank the electorate because coming from an unsuccessful effort in 2013, they kept faith with us. And in 2018, notwithstanding the same unsuccessful and disappointing result, the party's support grew between one failed effort and the other. And that is instructive that they too recognize that this NDC is part of Grenada's future, notwithstanding the questionable outcome. And I say questionable because the OAS report of the 2018 elections, they who came here, they don't live here. And they unearthed several inaccuracies and inconsistencies and questionable conduct of the 2018 elections. So notwithstanding that and those deficiencies and setbacks at the institutional level, the Grenadian people voted by 800 more than they did in 2013. So it is important to thank the Grenadian people and thank the electorate for keeping faith with the NDC, so that even if the result of 2013 was as it was, our support grew, our support increased by 800. It tells you that more people saw NDC in their future. More people saw NDC in their future. And we are grateful. We are grateful for them keeping faith. Terry, we went to the General Council on a historic date in Grenada on May 14th, Saturday, May 14th. We had our General Council. The General Council is the governing body of the party. It's the second highest institution, second highest organ, second highest decision-making body of the NDC. We went to the General Council on the 14th of May, 2022. And on that day, the government, the governing party, they announced their departure from government on that date. So while we were being marshaled by our political leader and now Prime Minister on the 14th of May, our opponents chose to announce their departure on our General Council. It tells you our judgment to have our General Council on the 14th of May was sound, because it was that date that they announced, the government then announced the departure from office, and that departure was completed on the 23rd of June. A mere 45 days later, they exited because the Grenadian people kept faith and they saw NDC in their future.
That's great. That's great. Very instructive date indeed. But tell me,
Indeed.
how are you faring with respect to? I know that you are making a bid for re-election as General Secretary, and also
Yes.
how are things within the constituencies with respect to preparations, arrangements, and are everything moving along smoothly?
We're moving along smoothly. In fact, this convention is historic, and I'm going to come to what we are doing and how we are moving along smoothly. But this convention is historic because the party achieved what many thought was not achievable, the unthinkable. On the occasion of our 34th annual convention, we elected a leader who stood on the shoulders of the foot soldiers and the giants of this party and carried a victory, led a victory on the shoulders of the foot soldiers and stalwarts and the historic role of our women and youth in this party, and carried us, led us to a historic victory in 8 months. To this convention, it is indeed an occasion when we can celebrate how we have rewarded the country with that decision. The historic payment of pensions. Do not underestimate or undervalue, Terry, the historic decision that the Grenadian people made. It was rewarded with a historic payment of retroactive pensions and the restoration of pensions in this country. Whatever the intent in the disqualification of the Pension Act April 1983, whatever the intentions was, and whatever the deficiencies that gave rise to all kinds of permutations to today, the fundamental result is the Grenadian people kept faith with us. They reward, and we rewarded keeping faith with us with that historic payment of retroactive pension and the restoration. And indeed, this party returned faith and confidence with all our children, all our students, and all our teachers. As a first act of this party led by this phenomenal leader, we paid back the teachers their hard-earned money taken from them for their right to protest. For their right to protest. And in fact, Terry, a quick note, NDC was formed in 1987 as a result of defending workers' rights. Because there was an attempt to remove thousands of workers. And NDC was formed out of that decision to leave the NNP and form the NDC. We have always been champions of workers' rights. So this convention is a celebration.
Just take a pin there, because for the benefit of those who are unaware of the impact of payment being made to teachers, I think it's important that you reiterate the circumstances surrounding that particular payment of monies deducted from teachers. Explain to those who are unaware, especially the youth.
Indeed, very quickly. In 2018, Terry, the government did not commit or undertake its commitment to teachers and public officers that a 4% increase on their salaries would be effected. They kept pushing the goalposts and refusing to honor that commitment of the 4% increase. Teachers and public officers, but initially led by teachers, went on a campaign to get the government to honor its commitment. The government refused. Take us into 2019. The teachers decided to mount protests, legitimate protests, to call upon the government to honor its commitment to pay the increase that it had agreed to. The government, from that period to 2019, the government refused and continued to refuse to pay the increases. Consequently, the government decided to take a very draconian approach to attack teachers where they think it would have hurt them the most, to attack public officers where they thought it would hurt them the most, and to deduct the 8 or 9 days of protest over a period of time, deduct the equivalent of their pay, to deduct the equivalent of the day's pay that they were all protesting. The consequence was the teachers led that struggle and the public officers continued that struggle. And in the education sector, teachers decided that they would teach or work to rule. They would come to work, teach, and go home. What that led to was a collapse of the co-curricular and extracurricular environment that the school system enjoyed. So we lost debates. We lost the Grenleg school debates. We lost the quizzes. We lost the intercall games. We lost the school sports. We lost the reading contest. All the effort that the teachers put in for the same pay, the extensive additional work that teachers put in with our students to bring our students through exams, the Saturday evening classes. I am a volunteer with a secondary school in St. Andrew. I volunteer with the debating team to help them prepare for the Grenleg debates. We do those debating preparations at night and on weekends and on Sundays, Terry. And the government could not care less. They refused to return the teachers' pay that they deducted, that they took away. Some say stolen from them. And as a consequence, we lost an entire 2 years of the education sector. Nothing happened other than teachers went to teach and went home. So the extensive work that they did in athletics, we would have lost a potential Kirani James or Anderson Peters. We would have lost our next bright debater a next political leader through that period, compounded, of course, by the uneventual, unexpected COVID-19. So we lost another 2 years. So 4 years, Terry, of our teachers, of our students' lives were negatively impacted. First, by the draconian actions of the NNP government then, and then, of course, the uneventual, unexpected COVID-19 pandemic.
Larry, tell us, what do you think, in your opinion, would be or could have been the impact, negative impact educationally for our young students in Grenada? What kind of negative impact would that have been, and how long do you think that could probably last in the lives of young students?
Yeah, the 2 years of the loss of the teacher's role in nurturing, mentoring, guiding, supporting, and building the future of this country through the schools. The impact of that loss is as follows. One, a demotivated, uninspired teacher would have resulted in a demotivated and uninspired student. It meant that a lot of students who do not have the parental support, and when I say parental support, not money and food, but the support with homework, the support with SBAs, the support with the children preparation for exams, all that type of support that in some households is not possible. And many students will tell you they do not necessarily have a very supportive learning environment at home because of the number of other siblings or the nature of the environment they're in, neighbors, music, dogs, loud vehicle passing. Sometimes the home environment is not conducive. So they lost the supportive, nurturing environment of the school. That loss, Terry, cannot be measured in terms of psychological effect on students losing foundation. For those who came in September 2018 and September 2019, those Form 1s in 2018 and September 2018 and Form 1s in September 2019 and the Form 2s, they would have lost that nurturing environment and the challenges to adjust to principally losing a motivated, inspired teacher environment, much as the teachers would have given their best in those circumstances of having lost their pay. So that's one. The second one, Terry, co-curricular development is as equal or probably more important than the actual instruction in the classroom. The complementary support, that quiz, that debate, that other aspects of the discipline in practicing for sport, discipline in preparation for your labs, those aspects in the school setting were lost.
Yep, very sadly so indeed.
In building the holistic child, in building the holistic student, a part of that wholesomeness was lost.
Yep.
We will know the effect of that in years to come when those adults say to us, those years, those foundation years in 2018, 2019 hurt my opportunities. I did a motivational piece. The Form 5s of a secondary school in St. Andrew asked me to do a motivational piece to the students, the 60-something students who are going into exams in 2022.
Right.
And when I went up there to do the motivational piece, one young lady stood up and she loved the lost opportunity to be a debater. She said to me, and she said to the students and the others in that motivational setting, I came to secondary school anxious, those were her words, anxious to join my school's debating team, because she looked at the debates, the Grelling debates, and from primary school, Terry, and that was one of her aspirations. She said it to all of us. She said, I lost it, and I'm leaving school. She's doing exam, and she said for 4 years, no debates, because we did not have the 2 years because of the teachers' protest, and then we did not have the 2 years because of COVID, and then she was going into exams. And then the Grelling debates were not restarted in 2022, as we know. So here is a young lady saying, my 5 years in secondary school, one of my dreams of going to secondary school was to be part of the debating team. And she lost that opportunity, largely because of the NNP's actions against teachers. The devastating effect on this young lady we'll never know. I encourage her.
That was sad indeed.
Big Joe and join the TAMCC debating. And then, of course, we don't restore community development, some great positives on the part of the DC government. We restored community development department. They now have a head of department and 15 community development officers. Part of the work of the community development officers going out there is to help establish community groups where they can have debating activities and so on. So we'll have a lot more opportunities as we go forward. A lot said on that.
Yep.
Back to convention.
Let us get back to convention. When will
Yes.
be the date, and where will the convention be held?
Sunday, the 5th of March.
Okay.
We're
What
going
time
to
would it
bring-
start?
10 a.m. We have persons gathering from 9 persons, the delegates leaving their homes at 7:30 from St. George's and 8 from St. Andrews and 8:30 from the west. So it is all road lead, and there's a lot of exciting things. So let me get to some of it. We had a convention build-up. Another first. We had a convention build-up to the 35th annual convention. That build-up included zonal campaign stops. We have about, the democracy and the internal rigor of the NDC's democracy is one of the most cherished things about the NDC.
Tell me all about
Terry,
it.
I remember you and I, our conversations in 2021. Terry, you always say NDC, you felt like a kid in a candy store because the robustness, the rigor, the exciting NDC democratic system blew you away.
Absolutely.
Terry, it was even more fascinating this time because we had our zonal campaign stops. Our zonal campaign stops, Terry, was fascinating and exciting. We started with the zone, and let me just give the public a quick synopsis. We have developed the country, we have designed the country into 3 zones. Our western zone consists of 5 constituencies. The St. Patrick's East and West, St. Mark, St. John, and Carriacou. Our eastern zone comprise 4 constituencies, the 4 in St. Andrews Northeast, Southeast, Southwest, and Northwest. And the 6 constituencies the 5 constituencies in St. George's and the St. David's comprise our southern zone. I suspect we may want to balance it out by probably having St. David's be part of the eastern zone. But for now, we have the 6 constituencies, the 5 in St. George's and St. David. So the country is politically geographically placed in zones. So the 15 constituencies comprise the east zone, the west zone, and the southern zone. And we had zonal campaign stops as a build-up to the convention. Those zonal campaign stops commenced on Saturday, 18 February with the Western Zone full house. About 100 delegates and party members attended, and another 75 to 80 on Zoom. All our diaspora, we have a rebirth of our diaspora that we have never seen before, Terry.
Oh, yeah.
We have a rebirth of our diaspora
Very
that
much
we
so
have never
indeed.
seen before. We have this Miami, the Florida 46 new members of the party in the Florida chapter. Fascinating work. We led the development of that chapter there during this term. And we have 2 other chapters. I started the dialogue last November. We are nearly at the point of establishing the New Jersey chapter and of course the Georgia chapter. It has taken us about a year so far, but we're working to build a membership base there. So we have a couple of new chapters coming in to help push the NDC's movement, the transformation movement.
The Georgia chapter is going to be where? Downtown Atlanta?
They're going to be based in Georgia. They're going to be based in Georgia, as indeed in New Jersey chapter. We started the work on those 2 chapters on the 3, but the one that moved the fastest was Florida. So we started there. It took us 9 months. We launched last September. We had a fantastic launch up there. Our deputy PRO represented the party up there. And they launched right there. They launched the toy drive and school supplies drive. And Terry, we had a fantastic, almost 3,000 pieces of toys and school supplies were sent by the Florida chapter, supported by the New York chapter with the financing for the shipping. And we were able to distribute to our 15 constituencies. So you see the effect of starting your chapters and building on the chapter base.
Absolutely.
They are critical. And of course, we have a re-emergence of the UK chapter. They contributed substantial financial contribution. We have a historic financial contribution from the New York chapter. The New York chapter is a vanguard. If we start to speak about the New York chapter, Terry, it is the vanguard. When everybody looked the other way, New York chapter never stopped looking towards us.
They're like,
With their
they're very constant like the Northern Star.
They added Northern Star, the vanguard New York chapter, and Comrade Bowen and his team up there and we're grateful for the 34 years. They started just outside the 35th year of the party. They started in 1988. 34 unstinted years
That's
of
great.
unstinted service by the New York chapter. We have
Fantastic.
the rebirth covering Nurse and Rahman and Kino and Gilliam and so on in the Canada chapter. They reorganized the chapter in Canada, but the chapter was always there, supported by the likes of Robert Nurse and so on, stalwart vanguards in the business. And of course, we
That's
have
great.
a fantastic team up in the UK, led by Roy McEwen. We started with the rebirth and the re-emergence and the re-energizing of the UK chapter with a brother called Carl Simon. And today we have 26 members or thereabout. We have, because we have an interim executive there, we move into have a relaunch of the UK chapter and the election of a new executive there and so on. So it's an exciting time for the NDC. And this term 2021 to now, we have seen a lot of great achievements by the party. So back to
That's great. Let's get back to the convention. Tell me about the delegates and the support base coming there.
Just before we go there, so we had our zonal campaign stops where 12 to 15 of us gave our account to the delegates and the members of the party why we should be returned or why people should be changed. And we had a fantastic effort on the 18th of February up at St. Mark's in the Waltham, in the St. Mark's Secondary School in Waltham, with all of our chapter persons online on Zoom, and they participated as well. We then moved to the 20th, the Monday, February 20th. We had our Southern Zone campaign stop at the St. Paul's Community Center. Again, 50, 60 people there, and over 100 on the Zoom from around the country and around the diaspora. And we brought the curtains down on the zonal campaign stop. So the Eastern Zone up at St. Mary's in Lafayette, the St. Mary's Primary School in Lafayette. Again, another 50, 60, or probably 70 persons there, members and delegates. And of course, another 70, 80 online. So via Zoom. So that was a great accomplishment. Some people likened it to the Democratic Party in the US, the Democratic Party debates, because of the number of persons offering themselves to the range of positions and making our cases and defending our record of achievement. Now we move to Sunday, March 5th.
Well, before you get there, Larry, let me just explain to our audience, listening audience, that the process that you have just shared, it's unique and unusual to the NDC. Because I know of other political parties, they go to the convention with a kind of a pre-slate executive and then say to the delegates, we want you to support these individuals. Whereas within the NDC party, the individuals interested in holding office, they make themselves available to the delegates in the various zones, and they are grilled as to why they should be considered for the position, which is good. In other words, democracy is at work, and that is healthy for the organization. So now let us go to the convention. How many delegates are you expecting? And what are the travel arrangements for supporters getting there?
Good. So we go to McDonald College on Sunday the 5th. One stop on the way though is today. We're at a fun day, family fun day and bingo at the Monrouge playing field. So come on out, join us, members, supporters, conscientious Grenadians wanted to be part of the experience of transforming Grenada and moving Grenada forward. We are at the Monrouge playing field this evening in sport and fun and games and activities. So please join us there. We'll have a bingo as well to raise some funds towards some critical initiatives that the party will be undertaking. So please join us this evening in Monrouge. You must have been hearing the audio ad on a couple of the radio stations. So members, supporters, friends, well-wishers, conscientious Grenadians, join us at Monrouge this evening. So when we go to the convention on Sunday, each constituency is responsible for their transportation of their delegates, their food to the McDonald College. This is how the delegate system works. Our party constitution establishes as follows: 2 and I'm just giving you a summary format. How we arrive at the delegates and so on is another story. But our delegates, 2 per PD. So we have 132 PDs in Grenada. So that's 264 delegates representing the 132 PDs. So automatically, you have 264 delegates from the 132 polling divisions from the 15 constituencies of the country. They are the critical delegates, in addition to the following: 5 delegates representing the constituency branch executives, the youth arm executive and the women's arm executive, and then you have 2 delegates per constituency youth arm, per constituency women's arm, and 1 delegate representing all constituency youth groups, all constituency women's groups. And then we have 3 delegates representing all our 3 delegates. I'm sorry about that.
Three
delegates representing our support groups. 3 delegates representing our support groups. And the UK, Canada, Miami, and New York. So that composition takes us about 420 delegates overall. About 420 overall. Now we have delegates representing the chapters who are already in Grenada, and we have delegates who are participating by Zoom. The delegates, Terry, are the ones who vote. We have alternate delegates and an alternate pool per constituency. So what we end up with is each constituency will have 2 to 4, 2 to 5 alternates. Already, for example, there's a constituency who have already used the delegate pool because a delegate is unable to attend on Sunday for the unforeseen circumstances. So you simply dip into your delegate pool and you replace that delegate. The convention, the constitutional requirement is that a delegate must be a party member in good financial standing. Our party monthly subscription is $5 per month, $60 per annum. So all our delegates at least must be financial as of March, at minimum as of March 2023. Delegates are typically, other than the delegates who are automatic, and automatic delegates are those on the National Executive Council. So the National Executive Council comprises the following: the MPs, caretakers, senators, that's 15, the chairpersons of the diaspora support groups or chapters, and the chairpersons of the women's arm, youth arm, and the 15 constituencies. And those who are elected, so that's the second group. And the third group are those who are elected at the convention. That group is what the campaign, the zonal campaign stops, was about, that group. So we have an average of 45 National Executive Council members. So they are, according to our constitution, they are automatic, must still be in good financial standing, but they are automatic delegates. So that's one block of delegates. Then I've outlined the 264 representing the PDs, and then the others, as I've explained, representing the executives and groups.
Right.
So overall, about 400.
So in addition to the delegates, of course, supporters are welcome to be there. So all in all, you may end up with about 600 persons to that event.
On average, most constituencies come with another 5 to 8 members of the party. So they are non-voting delegates.
Yeah.
And they are simply
observers.
members who would be on the back of each constituency block, and your delegates would sit forward. So on average, we'll have about 550 or thereabout in the hall at any given time. That's the average you will have in the hall. But it's a closed session simply because it's internal party business being discussed. And the electoral process is also an internal. But I want to say something quickly, Terry, about conventions and the necessity for our young people, our teachers. This is our convention, but both parties, both major political parties in Grenada, they have annual conventions. Sometimes it goes a little beyond the annual. In our case, our convention is due every October, November. We have moved it a bit because a lot was happening government-wise that had us consider shifting to March to give a little more time to coordinate the work of the pension, the budget. So there was quite a lot happening organizationally, and therefore it was felt we should move the convention, not later than March. Typically by March, we would have had a general council. So the importance of the convention whenever they're held is that week leading up to the convention is always useful for our teachers across the school system, private, primary, secondary, tertiary, to discuss the value and importance of party conventions. Party conventions are, other than a revolution, the party convention is the most critical public.
We have lost your audio.
Yes. So,
All right.
sorry.
Right, you're back on.
The convention, the party convention, is the most critical institution, public institution, that provides the future leaders of the country. Your prime minister comes by route of the convention.
Absolutely.
So political party conventions must be matters of national interest, matters of national concern, matters of national education, because it is through the convention you get your future political leader and prime minister.
Absolutely.
So it's important that this week, the school system, as I've outlined them, engage in helping students understand the NDC convention is happening. This is what the convention does, and this is what a critical step to the constitutional requirement of an executive. The three arms of government is the constitution of the constitution of the country talks about three arms of government, but it is the political parties responsible, and through the convention, responsible for one of the critical arms of government, the executive.
Indeed.
It is so understand the critical relationship between a party convention, the lower house, the upper house, the executive, the cabinet.
Well,
It's important, Terry.
matter of
And I think
fact,
we need to put a
if there is never a political party, then I guess you would not have a government, because the party forms the government once the party wins the election.
Thank you. But
And,
the party delegate gives the country its prime minister.
Yep.
That is why the 34th convention on the 31st of October 2021 was historic. Because the delegates gave the political party its new leader. And standing on the shoulders of that party's stalwarts, founders, foot soldiers, in 8 months, the country was convinced that the delegates on the 31st of October made the right decision. And today, a party produces a new leader, and the country accepts that party's decision with that new leader to form the government and the new prime minister. Historic
Very
for a
much
political party coming out of 15-0 twice. Notwithstanding the two 15-0s, our popularity was growing between 2013 and 2018. So these are important considerations when we engage in our young people and we engage in our political dialogue in our workplaces and in our schools and in other bus terminals and shops and supermarkets. Those are important discussion points. It's important narratives. But most important, this week, I'm asking all schools to begin the dialogue, not just the social studies teachers, but all schools have the dialogue of the vitality, necessity for party conventions, because they're the supply chain for your future prime ministers and your critical arm of government, that of the executive.
Great. Well,
So,
on this note,
so all our constituencies, we are ready. All the delegates, most of the delegates' lists have been generated. Financial status of the delegates, vital. Those are happening this week as well. Most have been paid up already. Some constituencies, the delegate list was ready 3 weeks ago. A quick word on delegates. You typically have three, the Constitution doesn't define per se how you choose a delegate, but typically a delegate is one who has party experience. A delegate is one who are most active in the constituency, political activist, a member of the party who supports the party's work, gives selflessly to the party, are reliable and committed. And another criteria for selecting your delegates is new people that you want to give exposure and do succession planning and future building of your party base. You ensure, especially through your youth and so on, you have your young people coming in as delegates for the experiences. So
on this note, Larry, we're going to ask that we take a short break at this time, and we'll be right back with you. chatting with the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, Larry Barry. Back with you in a moment.
My name is Rennie Rouget. Most people know me as President or Prezi. I am a personal trainer and fitness motivator. The name of my business is called Cali Z. Calisthenics is basically body weight fitness, or fitness using your body weight. I like to define it as a discipline and an art form that allows you to master your body using natural movement. So I've been in this line of work for just a little over 2.5 years, going on to 3 years. I was inspired to get into this, just having my own personal goals of wanting to feel stronger and healthier and just change my lifestyle around to improve my health overall. So there are a few challenges that I've faced in this business in terms of getting clientele to come in. It has been a challenge because I do it in an open space. So we deal with the weather, having to deal with the weather. That has been one of the challenges that I've faced. Getting the right gear to add to my exercises has been a challenge as well. So the CES grant is going to help me in terms of getting a few more weights to add to my exercises and workout routines, which is helpful. A lot of clients do request using some weights from time to time. It's also going to help me in terms of getting the right video equipment so that I can start marketing the business a little better and advertising better as well. In the next 5 years, I see myself having a calisthenics park, an area where people can come and train and basically do outdoor fitness workouts. You can also have a covered area for the days when the weather is not great, when you have the rain falling. I see things like healthy food and drinks included in that campus. Just overall health and fitness area that people can come and develop themselves on a fitness level. It's good for mental health as well, not just physical health, but mental health. And yeah, that's where I see myself in the next 5 years. It's a yes for CES. Z.
Welcome back to all our listeners and viewers of the NDC Heartbeat podcast. We're happy to have you on this afternoon. Say a very warm welcome to all of you who are listening on radio, WeFM, Vibes FM, Spice Capital Radio, and indeed those who are on the Facebook page. Please remember to share the live. Okay, so we'll be now going back to the General Secretary and just ask him for his closing comments, because we also have online the Deputy Public Relations Officer, whom we're going to be chatting with also. So welcome back, Larry.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you to your viewing and listening audience for staying with us.
Great. As we come to the close with your session, please give us the theme of the convention and your closing remarks before we head over to the Deputy PRO.
The theme of our convention 2023, our annual 35th convention theme, Transforming NDC, Transforming Grenada. Our transformation of NDC commenced, and we are continuing with that transformation. Our transformation of NDC and the transformation of Grenada is located in some of our work going forward. We're going to have a special general council on the party constitution, a critical transformative piece of the transforming NDC is going to be through a special general council on the constitution. As we move forward to transforming Grenada, we're anchoring the transformation in our manifesto. We have achieved significant manifesto commitments already, including the pension. We have had a significant impact on the education system already.
Larry, we have to ask that we conclude this discussion at this point in time, because we're going to be running really close on time. So we want to thank you very much.
Transforming the NDC, transforming Grenada, and we do have our mini rally. All our supporters who are not at the convention business meeting, please, we're going to publish our motorcade routes. We have permission from the police. Our motorcade to the mini rally, a fantastic evening after the convention at about 5:30. All roads lead to McDonald College grounds for a fantastic mini rally to again continue celebrating and thanking the Grenadian people for keeping the faith with us. Join us. Our motorcade routes will be published, Terry, so all our supporters Join us after the convention on McDonald College grounds. Live entertainment,
Thank
live
you.
band,
Thank you
art
very much. Thank you very much indeed, General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress,
It's a
Mr. Larry
pleasure.
Barry.
It's a
Thank you
pleasure.
so very
It's
much
a
indeed.
pleasure. And see you in
Now,
Baton
it's
Rouge this
a
evening.
pleasure for me to now introduce to you the Deputy Public Relation Officer of the National Democratic Congress, Randall Robinson. He is out at the Monroe playing field where the Prime Minister will be hosting a fun day this afternoon, and he's out there just to give us an update as to how things are going and to let us know how the PR is developing for not just this event, but also there's another event tonight, which is a football friendly between Grenada and Barbados, being held at the National Stadium at 7 p.m. this evening. So, Randall, welcome to Heartbeat once again, and over to you. Give us an update what's happening down at Montrouge.
It's my pleasure, Terry. It's my pleasure. So I'm down here at Montrouge. Things have not started in any big way yet because, as you would understand, most people who come from the outer parishes probably went to church this morning and so on. But we wanted to do at 10 o'clock so that we could get things in place. So we are in the process of putting out the music is there, not started yet. The Prime Minister just came from church and is making a quick little visit before he goes and changes and come back in, I guess, in short pants and things to enjoy the fun this afternoon. But we're down here, we're getting ready. The two bars are here and solid. I'm just seeing some of the buses arriving now with constituents. People are walking with their coolers and so on and food, which is what we wanted to happen. The bouncy castles are being unfurled. So the children haven't arrived yet. I guess that's going to happen a little later. And basically, we're here and we're ready. So as soon as people get in, we will be ready for them. We also have, we're over by the medical tent. And, interestingly enough, we went and did our medical test this morning and so on. And our Prime Minister is here. And would you believe? He's right behind me.
Wow.
There's the PM taking his little blood test and so on. So we're making sure that everybody is doing what they're supposed to do and getting medical tests done and all of that. So we're here, as we say, we're here, we're ready.
All right. So
and we're waiting for people to arrive. And it's going to be a fun afternoon. And in front of me, you'll see we set up for cricket. The pitch is there and waiting for the competition to begin. So as we get down here, it's going to be cricket this evening. We're going to get that going. And of course, the music is going to be playing and the food is going to be out and everybody's going to be having a good time too.
Fantastic indeed, Randall. Tell me, the blood test exercise is for sugar levels, blood pressure checks, and the public...
Blood pressure checks, sugar levels, and basically, we just want people encouraging everybody to come. And if you're here, we're always concerned about health. So we have a medical tent in, and people can come and get their tests and so on done while they're here. We also are going to have a tent that the Guelph people are coming down with medical supplies and so on. So people who want to get little medical machines and so on, those will be available at the medical supplies tent later on as well.
Great. I understand, Randall, that there will be a bingo on later on this afternoon. Tell us about it.
Yes. So we started the bingo. That will be the last thing. So after we finish with the cricket competition this evening, and we have done the cricket competition in zones. So you have east, west, north, south, and 4 zones. And then after that, when that competition is over, we're going to have the bingo, and that will bring a close to the proceedings. So we'll have about 4 games this evening, and the tickets are only $10, and the prizes are going to be, I think we're doing like $200, $500, something like that. Small prizes, but it's going to be fun, and you're going to have a grand time. Imagine coming down here, spend a little $10, and you walk away with that $200, $300. That'd be great, right?
Well, sounds interesting indeed. And
good.
In addition,
so we're going to be doing that. So it's going to be all fun, all fun, all fun.
Wonderful. In addition to that, of course, there is the football friendly on this evening, 7 o'clock at the stadium, between Grenada
Yes.
and Barbados. And
Yes.
it starts at 7 p.m. So individuals who are energetic enough from the Fun Day exercise at Montrouge, they can certainly go
Right
over to
over
the
to the
stadium.
stadium to support the Spice Boys.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be.
Absolutely so indeed. What are some of the other activities that are being planned for the Fun Day this afternoon?
Well, yes. So we're going to have some football. We're going to have cricket. We're going to have board games. Well, that's where it's going to be. You know, Joseph Andal is a big draftsman.
Well,
so,
me
there's
too,
going to be
huh?
a lot of drafts and so on. Yeah, card. You too, Terry?
Yeah, man. Yes. Yes.
So we're going to be having those going to be, so we're going to be having the card games and all of that. We're asking people to come out with your games, your Monopoly and your whatever it is, snakes and ladders, even for the children, everything. Just come down with the games and so on. We have the tents, we have the tables and so on. We're going to be setting up, and people are going to be having a great time down here
All
this
right.
evening.
And food and drink on sale?
Food and drink on sale. And people will come with their coolers, of course, and so on. But if you want, yes, we have food and drink. That's being prepared at the moment. You know, most people are coming in a little late, as I tell you, but the bars are already set up and ready. And we have Hillary from the south. Yeah. She is going to be having cakes and so on, a cake sale going on down here. So if you want little condiments, you could come and get them. And you see them on the table here. And so what's that? I seen Stew. Hey! Stew, you know, that's stew golden apple.
Stewed golden apple.
Stew pawpaw.
Wow.
Pawpaw on the end here. What we have again, chip that look like 5 fingers and so on. And damsel stew, you know. Come down. And we have cakes and so on. It's banana bread, semi-fruit, cherries, everything. Just come down and enjoy it, brothers and sisters.
Wow. Well, Randall, just watch your sugar level while you consume some of these things.
And have a jab passing behind me there. Have a jab. I don't know what kind of jab passing behind me there. I don't know what kind of jab is that. But he have on a helmet.
Well. I guess he's going to be part of the fun this afternoon.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, that was great to have the Prime Minister to pop in early after attending church and just to get his blood pressure checked and hopefully sugar levels so that he's ready for tomorrow morning back to work.
Back to work. Yeah?
Great.
So you're going to go home and change and all of that, and he's going to come back and we're going to have fun. Already, you know, the children are all over him.
Oh, I can well imagine. Yes, he's a magnet. He's a magnet with the kids.
Yes, certainly.
All right.
Certainly.
Tell me about transportation. Persons making their way there, or are there planned transport?
All constituencies have organized, in some cases, 3 buses and so on that the party is going to be paid for. So people are going to be coming with buses. Also, people are going to be coming with their own transport and so on. I just saw the St. John's section just came down with the pickup down there and so on. So all of that is happening. Yeah. So they're beginning to arrive, folks. They're beginning to arrive.
That's great. I remember during the convention, you know, there were flotillas of vehicles just connecting with constituencies. It's not going to be that way today, but certainly there will be lots of transport available.
Yes, there's going to be transport available. Yes, for everybody. So those who want to come down and so on. What?
Fantastic.
Yes.
Well, I realize that you are fully engaged down there, Randall, and you probably been stretched at this moment.
Yes. We tried to get a few things organized and so on. Somebody was late to the generator, so that should be here any minute now, so that we can get it to run, jumping and having fun.
Fantastic. Let us just swing a little bit to the convention, and as the Deputy PRO, what are some of the PR plans in place for promoting the convention come Sunday, 5th of March?
Right. Well, as you well understand, that the convention is more an internal thing of the party. It's internal to the party. So a lot of what is happening is going to be advertised internally. So we have all our chats and constituency chats across the island are going to be replete with little snippets of what is going to be happening. But everybody knows all delegates have been chosen already, and the GS should have been informed about the delegate list and all of that.
Sure.
Everybody is paid up and everybody is ready to go. So there are going to be other activities, mostly this week, where the people who are putting themselves up for office and so on to be considered. We have started that process already. For the last 2 weeks, we have had meetings, zonal meetings, where people can come and make a presentation. So if you want to go for assistant chair like I am, or you want to be the general secretary, or you want to be the assistant PRO or whatever, you have to come and talk to the party and let them know that that's what you want to do and be questioned about your stewardship and all of that. So that is happening. That will continue to happen during the week. As a matter of fact, some constituencies are going to be having their final meetings before convention this week. So delegates and people who are offering themselves for office still can have opportunities to come to the various branches and make presentations. So that's happening this week. And then we're going to be culminating the week with that big event on Sunday with the National Convention, followed directly by a mini rally up at Zonal College. So most of it is going to be internal. So if you don't hear it, if you're on the outside, you may not hear, but this is what is happening.
Great, wonderful
for the National
indeed.
Democratic Congress.
Well, it's important that the general public knows about the convention, and that there will be a rally after the convention, after the private side of things, the private business of the convention, and that they are encouraged to come along, supporters, non-supporters, new supporters coming out to the rally, which would be, I would imagine that should start about what, 5:30, 6 o'clock?
Yes, we're hoping to start by 6 o'clock.
All right, so that's the rally after the convention.
That's the rally after the convention, and we hope to start the convention at 9 o'clock promptly.
Okay.
Because we have a lot of work to do.
Exactly so indeed. So then the media would most likely come out probably at about 4 o'clock, so they can interview some of the new elected officers, etc., and get the news about the convention.
That's it. Yes.
Great. Well, we are almost out of time, Randall. Do you have any closing remarks right now?
Well, we just want to encourage, as we are on here, and I know a lot of people are seeing, if you are still ambivalent about whether you want to come down this evening, look, just jump in your transport and come down. We're going to have a lot of fun down here at Montrouge. Yes, I am beginning to see some of the constituents, some of the buses are coming in and so on at this juncture. So we're gonna be having a lot of fun down here. So come out. The Prime Minister is gonna be here, and the pictures of the children and all of that is gonna take place. We're gonna have fun. There's gonna be card games. There's gonna be crafts. There's going to be cricket. There's going to be probably a little football and so on. And then we're gonna end with a big bingo. Yeah. So it's gonna be all fun. So come down and enjoy. We're here waiting for you.
Thank you very much indeed, Randall. That's great. This has been Randall Robinson, Deputy PRO of the National Democratic Congress. We want to thank him for this review of what's happening this afternoon at the Montrouge playing field, the Prime Minister's Fun Day. And later on this evening at 7 p.m., there is a match between Grenada and Barbados, a friendly taking place at the National Stadium. So those of you who are interested in that, please come on out and support the Spice Boys. And of course, earlier on, we chatted with the General Secretary of the party, Mr. Larry Barry. He also will be making himself available at the convention for that position. We want to thank both of these gentlemen, and to thank all of you who have been on WeFM, Vibes FM, Spice Capital Radio, and indeed those who joined on the NDC Facebook page. Thank you for being part of the Heartbeat today. See you again next Sunday. Have a great afternoon. Bye.